the final piece of this, what does Deebo Samuel want? Would he want to play for the Jets? And we still don't know what it's about with Deebo Samuel. Isn't that odd to know exactly that he wants to be traded? He's on the record requesting a trade, but we don't know why. And he's pushed back against the reporting that has tried to supply the reasons. And the three main reasons seems to be pretty simple. One, I'm not happy with the contract offers I'm getting. Two, I'm not happy with the way they use me. Three, I don't want to live in California. This is the tweet that Deebo Samuel posted late Wednesday afternoon, deleted within an hour or so after that. Reporters' job is to make stories. Only people know the truth about my situation is the 49ers, Agent Tory Dandy, and Deebo Samuel. Okay, fine, but what else could it be? I don't like the offers they're making. I don't like the way they use me. I don't like living in California. What else is there? Is there some, maybe, I don't know, maybe there is something that we don't know about. Maybe somebody said something to him at some point that alienated him against the 49ers, and that's a point I've been making from time to time over the past couple of days. However we got to this point, the fact that the 49ers have one of their most important players who has decided he wants out is a failure by the 49ers in some way, in something they did or said, in something they failed to do or failed to say, in something that they prevented from happening. You don't let your relationship with key players get to the point where the player wants out, especially when we are in an age of player empowerment, where players who want out are asking for it and getting it. And not just getting out, getting to the places they want to go, right? Even without a no-trade clause. And I've said with quarterbacks, the no-trade clause is meaningless because who's going to trade for a guy that doesn't want to be there anyway? But even receivers without a no-trade clause. Devontae Adams was able to get to the team he wanted to play for, the Raiders. Tyreek Hill was able to get to the team he wanted to play for, the Dolphins. What team does Deebo Samuel want to play for? I've had some folks suggest to me, not anyone in the league, just the folks who send in emails, the viewers and the readers, and sometimes I complain that the mailbox gets flooded. I appreciate hearing from everybody, but at the same time, the mailbox does get flooded. So think twice before you send an email to Florio at profootballtalk.com. Sometimes it's just too much. But I try to read most of them, even if I don't have the time to respond. And I appreciate the folks who understand that I just don't always have the time to respond. I do read all of them, even the nasty ones. And I'll get some nasty ones. And hey, if it makes you feel better, go ahead. I don't care. I'm used to it by now. And I understand, as I've said time and again, the passion that makes you say those things to me, to players, to anyone. That's the passion that brings you to the sport, that gets you to follow it, that gets you to visit profootballtalk.com. So, with the 49ers and Deebo Samuel, how do they fix this mess? Are they willing to trade him? I don't think we'll know, and I think it's smart for the 49ers to keep it quiet until the draft begins. This is an important thing to understand. This is a nuance that I think is critical. If you are going to trade Deebo Samuel and you are going to get a 2022 first-round draft pick, you do not breathe a word of it until you acquire the selection that goes on the clock when you do the trade. Because you don't want other teams to know that you're going to be in that spot until that spot's on the clock and you can't be jumped. You just don't want to play that game. Maybe they'll guess wrong. Well, maybe they'll guess right. Maybe the player that we want in that spot, whichever spot it is from 1 to 32, maybe the player that we want, of course, if it's a 1, it doesn't matter, but maybe the player we want gets snatched before we can get there. So let's wait, and then we'll know. Sometimes trades get hinged on whether or not a given guy is available when that pick is on the clock. I don't know. Maybe that's the final factor for the 49ers. Maybe they'll trade him to one team if player X is on the clock at a certain spot, and if that doesn't work out, they'll trade him to another team if player Y is on the clock at a given spot. You know, one thing the 49ers definitely do is overthink situations to a fault. And I doubt that they would go into this without a very strategic, deliberate, detailed plan of what they want to do and how they want to do it, and maybe cling to it to the point where it becomes detrimental, because we've seen that happen with other situations involving the team in recent months. So I think the Deebo Samuel continues to be in play. Why he wants out, it doesn't matter per se. He just wants out. But why he wants out is relevant because certain things can be fixed. Contract can be fixed. Usage can be fixed. Location can't be fixed unless the 49ers plan to move to South Carolina, if that's where Deebo Samuel wants to be as close as possible to. So some things maybe can be remedied. Other things can't. Time will tell. It feels like he's in play. It feels like it could possibly happen. And until we get the equivalent of the Steve Keim zero chance quote as related to Kyler Murray, till we get that from John Lynch or Kyle Shanahan or Jed York or someone in a position of power and influence with the 49ers, there's reason to think that Deebo Samuel is in play. And there's reason to think maybe there already is something that's cooked up. That was the point I was making when I made my pitch to go ahead and email me, but don't overdo it and understand if I don't respond. Somebody made a great point that maybe there's already a deal in place that we don't know about. And maybe that's why some of these statements that Deebo Samuel has been making on social media the past couple of days disappear. Maybe he's being told, just stop. Let's not agitate. We're going to work this out. But it's not going to get worked out if you tweet what you tweeted on Wednesday night, or if you respond to comments from reporters about why a guy wants out on social media. I mean, we have seen him delete things after he puts them up, and I think somebody is telling him, just be patient. Let's be quiet. Let's be discreet. That's the path to getting this worked out the way we want it to be worked out.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.